My university is revoking my visa for pro-Palestine activism, and now I'm taking legal action against them. King's College London is just following the example of the Trump administration by punishing pro-Palestinian students by trying to deport them just for the pro-Palestinian activity. My name is Usama Ghanem. I'm an international student from Egypt in King's College London, studying international relations. I first started protesting on campus after the start of the genocide in Gaza. I discovered more about King's complicity within the genocide. I discovered more about the investments, about the heavy connections they have not only with Israeli universities, but with Israeli military and forces, helping them research and develop their weapons and all of their studies and their research capabilities to kill more Palestinians. And when I first discovered that, I felt an insane amount of complicity within institutions that I paid tens of thousands of pounds for per year as an international student. It all formed within me a very deep conviction that it is a betrayal, not only to the Palestinian people, but to my Muslim identity and my humanity, to just see this happening and turn a blind eye. The students of King's College London decided that we wanted to start an encampment, physically sit there on the university grounds, demanding the university to divest. And we all vowed to not move away until this justice is brought to our people in Gaza. And this where King's became even more prevalent in showing its true and real face of repression against every single student. Kapoor, the president of King's College London, we tried to confront him about his role and his aiding and abetting to this genocide that's happening in Gaza. Not too long after that, I got singled out for an action that the student body have taken collectively against King's College London. They decided to host an alumni dinner, a fancy event at the end of the year, to sit with different people from the university, different alumni, important people in positions of power, and just celebrate their year long while an act of genocide is taking place and while they're washing off their hands of war crimes. On our way to try and send that message to the university in the most peaceful manner, the university met our legitimate protest and our legitimate demands that day with utmost violence from its security guards, with the utmost aggression towards its own students, instructing its own security guards that are there to protect us, to beat us and strangle us with our keffiyehs. That day was a very dark day for the freedom of speech and freedom of protest and assembly within the university. And on the back of that, I was personally the only student disciplined for that day, where tens of students have been involved. King's chose to single me out, label me as a leader, and try to punish me and punish any dissent against its investments in Israel, and to make an example of its students when they target the university for complicity, that this happens to them. Following that disciplinary action, I was issued with a cease and desist letter that would basically prohibit me from taking any place on any pro-Palestine protest inside of campus. Pro-Israeli speaker was invited to speak on campus. The King's student body wanted to protest against that speaker and their genocide denial views that was displayed in that day. I took part in that protest, and later on I was doxxed by Israeli media all over the internet. The Campaign Against Anti-Semitism wrote personally to Vice Chancellor Kapoor, urging them to seek immediate disciplinary actions against the students involved, in which Kapoor instantly complied with and launched a disciplinary action against myself, which resulted in an indefinite suspension. This indefinite suspension initiated the cancellation of my visa, which threatens my legal status in the UK. Kings knew that this process of cancelling my visa is tied to the risk of me being sent back to the authoritarian regime in Egypt, in which me and my family had a history of dissent against it, that me and my family has suffered on its hands for decades. In May 2025, King's College London hosted the London Defence Conference, a conference where they invited in the Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, David Lammy, government officials, defence contractors, defence companies, and was sponsored by companies like Palantir, in which the UN declared it as a company profiteering off of genocide. King's College London used our campus to host those war criminals together, to foster them doing their deals, killing more of our brothers and sisters in Gaza, and just using the university campus as a catalyst for the war machine. Me and members of the student community went to protest against that conference. When we first got there, we were met again by the utmost violence that you can imagine from the security guards. I was personally pinned down against the wall and assaulted by security members. Things that King's own CCTV showed in their disciplinary case that they later on raised against me, in which King's claimed that I assaulted the security officers and that I made a problem to their reputational damage, that I've had an operational obstruction to their genocidal activities. So based on all of this injustice experience that I've faced with King's College London, I've decided to take legal action against them. The legal challenge will deal with the disproportionate nature and the impunitive results that King's have put against me. It will deal with their illegal policies against students on campus, and also will deal with King's illegal support for a racist ideology like Zionism. There's one important message to send right now, is that by all of what King's has done against me, that should not deter us on the fight for justice for the Palestinian people. It should not deter us from seeking the liberation of Palestine and an end to the genocide and the occupation that persisted for 76 years. I urge all of my fellow students to continue to taking action to hold the universities accountable against what's happening in Palestine and their complicity in it. And I urge you all to join me in pressuring the Vice-Chancellor and President of King's College London, Professor Shitish Kapoor, in reinstating me to finish my year in King's College London and finish my degree there, and pressuring them to fully drop the case against me and protect students and the right of freedom of speech and freedom of protest on campus, and demand them to end their investments and complicity in the genocide and the occupation of Palestine.